Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Dash. Double honors going out to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations also go out to the fellow Akim that are out there on the highways and byways. Not to mention the numerous videos, all right, that go along with that to help push out this truth across four corners of this earth. This is Naam of the DC Camp Branch Great Millstone, back for another video. Here we go with the copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research, all of which I'm doing. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. All right. So in this video, this is one of these Psalms 64 and 8. All right. They're telling on themselves, and a lot of this is driven by guilt. It's only so far you can suppress that. All right. Of course, this is on an individual basis, but a lot of people are saying, you know, hey, it's that time. You know, we've gotten away with this for so long. They're looking at what's happening, not just America, but in the world when it comes to them folks, you know, how people are perceiving them now. And it's, like I said, it's that time. He's being exposed. Truth. It's only going to be suppressed for so long. All right. Anyway, so this is Afro Judy. Let's go ahead and roll the video. It says, white man exposes own to the black folks. I mean, he's been at this for a minute. You know, for those of you that are familiar with this guy, he's been around a while, and he's still at it. So let's go ahead. Roll the video.
It's a black man's fault that he's in the position. Well, what about black on black crime? I mean, it goes on and on and on. You know, I mean, I could sit here all day and give you examples. All lives matter. I mean, it just goes on all day. Black people ask for justice. White people find a way to try to obscure it, to try to take away from it, to try to demean it. We are colonizers. And I say that based on our behavior.
I apologize, Salaki, but I was just, when he said that, I thought of, I was watching a movie review, Ironheart, about the Jake girl, and it's a story that came straight out of the comics. She's she creates an armor much like you know, Iron Man. And anyway, you should see the reviews that it's getting, and it's of mostly middle-aged white men that are saying, you know, she wears her father and shit like this. This is what he's, you know, making reference to there. And it's so fucking sad, but what else can you expect from people like that? I mean, that's the history there, all right? From a fictional character, nonetheless. Wow. It's the same with Black Panther. I mean...
Collectively as white people. And until we stop being gaslighters and colonizers, white people are on a path of self-destruction. White supremacy, the lies of white supremacy, the colonizing mentality has never brought the white man happiness, and it never will. It's toxic, dysfunctional, and self-defeating, and it's not helping us. And now there's all this white rage because when the abuser loses control, he gets angry. And then Trump was born because we had a black president. And he was perfect because he was racist. And that's what white America wanted, because they're angry, because they felt like they were losing control. These colonizers have to have control. And we had a black president. And everybody just shit all over themselves. White people just freak the fuck out. Oh my God, we're losing control. We have a black president. He's going to oppress us.
And gun sales and ammunition went through the roof, if anybody remembers. Why? Because they thought it was time for that reckoning, all right?
And enslave us. God knows we're going to be whipped and lynched. This is literally, I think, some of the thoughts, the subconscious. I'm exaggerating, but in a way it's true. The greatest fear of the colonizer is all that evil, vile shit that we did will be done up unto them.
Yep.
Us. And that's why there's so much white rage. The numbers are changing. Pretty soon, white people will not be the majority. The abuser loses control. So what do? We continue gaslighting. We continue with white rage. White domestic terrorism on the rise. The greatest threat in America. White people are enraged because they can no longer control their victims, black and brown people, the way that they want to. They're losing some of their power, some of their positions.
And that's the thing about so-called white supremacy, Edomite supremacy. This is the world, all right? That control aspect of it. I mean, part of that is having gatekeepers amongst those that are the oppressed. And especially when it comes to Jake, man, you wonder why all these so-called elected officials, they especially from the grassroots, and all of a sudden they're like standoffish. They no longer want to. Someone got to them. I mean, your entertainers, so-called, celebrities, whatever have you. The same thing applies, and they're encouraged not to what? Help you. All right, they maintain that, that distance. These, that's more or less the average Jake's fault for, putting them on that pedestal. You should never do that. All right. So this saying about when you put a person on a pedestal, you put them in the perfect position to turn around and kick your teeth out. Yeah, there you go. All right. Our so-called leaders ages ago, they were never for the people. All right, that goes with those curses that we're under. All right, it's never going to work.
Some of their privilege, they feel threatened. So here we are, in a state of crazy, utter chaos. That's why I say the lies of white supremacy is our destruction.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you all are doing great and fine wherever you are watching us from. I always try to bring thought-provoking and educative videos so that we can learn and relearn from the crazy things that are happening around us. Now it's coming to realization of some white folks that the hatred they have been directing towards black people is circling back to them, and they're feeling the pinch to an extent that some of them are now waking up and calling racism, colonization, and white supremacy that has been existing in their communities for centuries and centuries. And don't get me wrong.
Yeah, centuries and centuries. It's this system, it's this pit that we're all in. All right, and the thing is, a lot of that they do towards us is projection. All right, that's a psychology term. All right, meaning these are the problems that are theirs that they project on the others, namely us. All right, characteristics, things of that nature. All right.
Acknowledging racism, colonization, and white supremacy doesn't mean that you hate your whiteness. It means that you are learning that the system that has been privileging you has caused someone's dignity, freedom, and life. And this is exactly what this man is talking about in this video today. So kindly, let's dive in and give the video a thumbs up. I will really appreciate it.
Most white people are racist. The thing that white people hate to hear, and the thing that white people refuse to acknowledge and fix. When I say most white people are racist, what I mean is the majority of white people are racist. And I know this to be true. And if you're an honest person, you know it to be true. Yes, most white people are racist. And it's very simple as to why. Some white people are the perpetrators of racism. Some white people enjoy discriminating against black people and brown people. They enjoy seeing inequality being distributed. They enjoy their white privilege, and they work to protect it. They enjoy using the N-word. They are Trump supporters. They support politicians and lawmakers that promote racism. These are the perpetrators. These are the covert and overt racists, people that actually spew racism in all kinds of different ways, with the discrimination through words, through behavior, so many different.
Let me cut it right here because lately you've seen, I hope you have, a number of videos that are surfacing, and it's them folks saying how they regret choosing Trump. And now they see the lie, and they say, now we have tried, understand what black people were trying to tell us all this time. Hey, it's too late, There's a time limit on shit like that, all right? Usually, experience is the best teacher, and you're experiencing this now. This is what we've, as people, have always had to, to suffer, and now that squeeze has been extended to you, all right? As was it, Dr. Cornel West used to use he used to say, you've been niggerized, and a lot of them are like I said, feeling that pinch, all right? So, and they're starting to strike out in different ways, but we know the number one that we have to be concerned about is them airing out a gathering. That's why I always say, be conscious of your surroundings, just for that purpose, because as someone put it years ago, he called them evil mites, because we know them as the biblical Edomites, but he called them evil mites because he said these evil motherfuckers might do anything, and that's true. All right, so back to the video.
Ways. And then you have all the other white Americans that support it. And they support it how? By ignoring it. A massive millions and millions and millions of white people right now in America are actively ignoring white supremacy. And it's an art. It's a culture. It's what we do. We're masters as a white people at pretending white supremacy is not real. At pretending inequality is not real. At pretending
critical race theory. How about that?
All the statistics, all the racial data, all the racial disparities in every single American institution is not real. We are masters at ignoring it. And then the other thing that we do to support white supremacy is we deny it. Yes, the majority of white people deny white privilege, deny white supremacy, deny racial injustice. They thrive on denying it. It's part of their livelihood. So when I say white people are racist, it's because if we're not perpetrating it, we're supporting it. And until that changes, most white people are racist. So most white people support white supremacy, and I'll give you a little example. Today at lunch, I'm with 4 people at lunch. Today at lunch, I casually said, did you guys hear about what happened in Buffalo, New York? Immediately, one of the people, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Drop it. Can you drop it? Instantly. Maybe because they know me. It wasn't a good scene. An argument ensued. Because I won't drop it. I was taught to not talk about it. I was raised to be racist. I was raised to ignore it, be apathetic, not care. All the things that white people are taught. Most of us are taught that, whether we realize it or not. We're all socialized to be silent. So I imagine right now as millions and millions of white people are actively and aggressively sitting in silence about Buffalo, New York. About 10 innocent lives just swept out from under them. The families that are incredibly grieving. I saw the video, by the way. It's hard to watch. It was very disturbing. But what I thought about was all the white people in America right now who daily ignore all forms of racism, who are not outraged, who are not even sad, just apathetic, don't care, not my problem. Remember something about America. It's that silence. It's that denial. It's that apathy that gives racism and white supremacy permission. It's what you give permission to
through your silence. So when you say, I didn't do this, I didn't do that, through your silence, oh yes you did. All right. You might as well have been there with a big old sign saying, I condone this, I condone that, I'm with this, I'm with that, because through your silence you did so.
Time you ignore any form of racism, any form of white supremacist ideology, white supremacist little narratives that you hear from Fox News, from your buddies, from your coworkers, whatever it may be, discrimination, injustice, inequality, whatever you witness, whatever you see, that you ignore, that you hide from your kids. Oh, don't let my kids learn the truth about race. Ban CRT. It's what white people do best. We ignore racism. It's our legacy. We don't want to talk about it. We don't want to think about it. We want to protect it. We are the protectors of white supremacy. We're a bunch of damn fucking racists is what we are. That's what we have been socialized to do. Spew it or protect it. And like I said, we do it in 3 ways. Silence, denial, and apathy. Complacency, not giving a damn. Well, remember this, white America. Every time you ignore any form of racism, you got blood on your hands. Every single time. You're no different than...
And by that, what he also means, I take it that he means, you got to understand the system was built with that in mind. They're protected. All right. It's just over the years, they just allowed a little bit of, well, we'll give them this, we'll acknowledge that, so forth and so forth. Now they're going backwards, all right, with the education system. Too much was being allowed, too much of the truth was being allowed. This system was not designed with that in mind. This thing is built to make them feel good about themselves. All right. And what history was suppressed with the advent of the internet, can't hide it no more. So we have to make an adjustment. And that adjustment was right in your face. We don't give a fuck. No. You're not to teach that in the schools. You're not to print this. And you're like, is this some kind of bizarre world? Yes. Yes. Their true colors came out. What they're about. All right. So the ones that have the benefit of looking like those that rule, I mean the elites, all right, that were allowed, that privilege was extended to them as a result. Well, now they're getting screwed over, all right. They don't like it because, like I said, what did Cornel West say? You've been niggerized. They're not going to put up with that. So now we're gonna have to fight. That's what it's coming to. All right, 2nd Ezra 15 and 16 chapters. All right.
That shooter in New York, he pulled the trigger, but it's your silence that gave him permission. You remember that? You know, there's one great distinction between black folks and white folks. Black people have the moral high ground.
Unbelievable.
But that doesn't mean anything to a savage.
Using the blazing anchor, even
That's
though it's
always been the
Black people have
case.
the moral high ground. They do. Black people have them. When you do a comparison morally between white people and black people, you have to take away one thing: supremacy. Black people do not have a culture of black supremacy. However, white people do. So white people are narcissists, social, cultural, systemic narcissists is who we are because of our racism, because of the lies of white supremacy. How can white people have morality as long as we have bought into the lies of white supremacy? We can't. And how does that feel to know that black people have a moral high ground? How does that feel to know as a white person that you are sick, twisted, narcissistic, and immoral, highly immoral,
Yeah, narcissistic.
inhumane? I don't use.
Now that he said that, let's get some scriptures here. This is going to be, I'm sure you're familiar with, this is going to be in the book of Job, chapter 20. Let's go down to 10. Let's see, it says, his children shall seek to please the poor, and his hands shall restore their goods. All right, his bones are full of the sin of his youth. Again, the history here. All right. When you're at a point, and I hate, well, it's part of it, but it's stated in the Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion, which was translated in the very turn of the 20th century, I believe, 1905, something like that. And it said in one of those chapters how what they must do is, can't remember it verbatim, so I'll paraphrase something to the extent that all the wicked shit in history that is of their doing, they're going to have to try to suppress that and essentially build a new image, which is what they did. You know, he has to go around portraying that he is the good guy in all his forms of entertainment. That's what it was, how it was done, you know. But you still have that truth, that kryptonite to them, that truth is still there. And more of it is coming out now. So it says, his bones are full of the sin of his youth. He can't escape that, which shall lie down with him in the dust. And let's go to Psalms, let's see, hold on. Psalms 109 and for verse 10, it says, let his children be continually vagabonds. All right, this thing is going to turn around. All right, let his children be continually vagabond and beg. Let them seek their bread also out of their desolate places. You know, what does Malachi 1 and 4 said he shall build, but I will throw down. That's all you see with this continual gentrification. I'm in DC. I mean, it's, oh my, wow. And I'm sure in other major cities you're seeing that, especially where there was a large Jake population, you know, going back to the 50s and on with the quote unquote urban renewal, which was Negro removal. James Ball, what was his name? He told you that. You know, his bones are full of the sin of his youth, which shall lie down with him in the dust. Though wickedness be sweet in his mouth, though he hide it under his tongue, all right, he, you better believe he wants to extend this as much as he can, but time is running out. You know, Revelation 12 and 12, you know, we're about to see, for those of you that think there's some saving this wicked piece of shit known as the so-called white man. No, you're about to see, especially here in America, you're about to see, because the disguise is falling apart. All right. There's no longer no hiding. All right. Especially when it comes to this thing with Israel, and everybody is seeing this for what it really is. All right. This is white supremacy with a yarmulke over there in the so-called Middle East, Western Asia as it should be called. And it's the same thing that he did here in the Western Hemisphere with Gad, Reuben, and the other tribes. That's it. Nothing has changed, all right? Though wickedness be sweet in his mouth, though he hide it under his tongue, all right? Though he spare it, forsake it not, but keep it still within his mouth. In other words, he never changed, all right? So let's go back to, and he never will. This is his nature, all right?
You are sick, twisted, narcissistic, and immoral, highly immoral, and inhumane. I don't use the N-word. What are you doing to fight and dismantle racism that benefits you, white person? Nothing. I ignore it, I deny it, or you perpetrate it. Those are the three things we do. We ignore it, we deny it, or we perpetrate it. That's what most white people do. I hate to say it, but it's true. And that's why I say we're social narcissists, and we have no moral high ground, racially. We are sick, hurting people. Hurt people, hurt people. And we've been hurting a long damn time. We're hurting because of the disease of white supremacy. It's destroying white people from within. Look at the white nationalist party, the GOP. Not just them, all white people. But just as an example, look at the GOP. They're batshit fucking crazy. They bought into so many lies, and it all started with the great...
Exactly. And if you watch that video where Tucker Carlson is speaking at some convention, T something. Where was it? Was it down in Florida? But he's talking about, as far as being an American, and this thing with Israel, you know, about having dual citizenship, about serving in a foreign nation's army. You should automatically lose your citizenship here in America, and you just see people just leaving. All right, it's so much division. That's why I made reference earlier to a civil war. It's coming. It's down there here. You know, he was just being, you know, I didn't sense any animus or as far as being what they deem anti-Semitic or anything like that. It's just these people, when you go to the nature of so-called white supremacy, they don't want to give this up. They don't. And they sense, and, you know, any criticism of it, but they sense that, hey, it's over. All right?
Lie. The great lie of white supremacy. It all started with that. Everybody knows the GOP now officially is the white nationalist party. That's a fact. Matter of fact, you can look at a lot of the rhetoric that they spew, and it's almost identical to what the KKK.
Exactly, but I forgot to mention the fact that another thing that contributed to this big time was October 7th, 2023. You know, they went often to the cookie jar there. I'm talking about Israel. And the level of exposure that did, hey, there's no getting around it. This is the game they've been playing for 7, almost 8 decades, all right? And they got caught.
Spewing, and has been spewing for many, many, many years. It's the exact same rhetoric. It really is. Once again, I'm asking white people to understand, you don't do this just for black people as an anti-racist. You don't do it. I do it because I care about humanity, and I can't stand. I was bullied for many years. I can't stand to see people bullied. That's one reason I do this. It's true. But I'm not here to fucking save anybody except for white folks. Black people can take care of themselves. Yes, white supremacy creates the victims, but don't think the only victims are black and brown and indigenous people. We are also victims as the people who are living this grand lie and this grand immorality of social, cultural, and systemic narcissism.
That's of your own making.
White people, you're hurting. Until you heal from racism, you're doomed to live an immoral and toxic life. I've seen it in my own fucking family. Don't tell me it's not true. I've seen it with my own goddamn eyes. Living under the lies of white supremacy makes you sick. Nobody's good enough. You're not good enough. You're living lies. And it's people like Donald Trump, the grandest narcissist of them all. That's why white people love Trump. And don't think it's only the GOP. It's also in liberals. Many white liberals are just as racist as GOPs, just at a different...
Exactly. I'm glad he said that, because so many of our people fell into that trap, all right, of thinking one was better than the other, and it's not. They're both playing this game, all right? And our people are so caught up in it, and you wonder why we man. Well, you know, this is part of the curses, you know, and that's going into Revelation 13th chapter, I believe it's verse 11 about. Well, let's get it real quick. Speaking with forked tongue, that's what Gad used to say, you know, and he was absolutely right. It says, and I beheld another beast coming about the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb's political system, and he spake as a dragon. All right. Neither one of them have our best interest at heart, to my parties. And you wonder, well, why is it just two parties? Why, you mean they have the, throw out there the libertarian and you know, but no, it's, no, don't ever, I mean, like I say, it's too late now for, you know, this shit is about to literally explode, all right, because people are tired. They're tired of the bullshit, all right? And we have all the signs that we need to know that, you know, Matthew, you know, 24th chapter, you know, and other scriptures, you know, there's, the Lord's coming back, you know. Let's a little bit more, and then I'll shut it down.
The GOP, it's also in liberals. Many white liberals are just as racist as GOPs, just in a different way. So if you're not doing anything to dismantle white supremacy as a white person, again, you are the problem, and you're only hurting yourself by ignoring it. Believe that.
So guys, welcome back. Honestly, I agree with what this man was talking about, because talking about racism, it forces people to confront two things. Number one, their privilege, and secondly, their potential participation in a harmful system, even unintentionally. And many white folks, they were raised with idea that racism is only about personal hate, not about
and you have to consider this too. You think about the UN, the Security Council, all this, with all the resources that the continent of Africa, which is made up of 54 nations, not one of them sit on that council. With the wealth that they have, that lets you know what they think about you. Us, all right? Wow. So I think that was it. I don't, you know, I'm gonna shut it off right there. The point's been made. Yeah, there's no hope. There's no, this place is going down. And like it says in Jeremiah, you know, there will be no healing of Babylon. All right, it's done. It's over. It served its purpose. That was served as that golden cup. All right, to spread its philosophy, its doctrine, its wine. All right, and again, it served its purpose. It's out of here. So with that, once again, I hope whoever views this is edified. It's been the site Afro Judy, and it says white man exposed his own race to the black folks. All right, and spilled all the truth, and he did. All right, so with that, hey, until the next video, hey, shalom. Shabbat shalom.